y'all, I'm back. It's been a minute. It's your girl Icy Mona, and I am back with another review of Joseline'S Cabaret, the reunion part 2. This is the last and final review. Honestly, y'all, I know this video is coming out super late. As y'all can see, I'm finally back home. I was gone for damn near almost like a month. Like I said in my previous video, I got booked for some modeling slash acting gigs out in SoCal. I had an opportunity to work on a movie. So like I told y'all before, I will be putting out a vlog of that soon, maybe within like a week or two. But yes, let's get to this reunion. To be real with you, I wasn't even excited about watching this reunion because the part one already had disappointed me so much. So I already knew it was going to be some bullshit. And then once the reunion came out, because I didn't get to really watch TV like that when I was away out, because the shifts they had us working were overnight shifts, so my schedule was screwed. I'm tired as we speak. But anyways, I didn't really get a chance to watch it like that, but I had hopped on Twitter and saw the bullshit, and I'm just like, this review is just trash. And Jocelyn definitely showed her ass and her true colors, and maybe it just needed to be shown because what the fuck. So it opens up with them resuming from part one. The host, I don't remember her name, but we're gonna call her host, and the other one we already know is Lunel. So the host is basically saying that, like, because as we know, Miss Natural had left the stage because her and Jocelyn was getting into it, and she basically was like, oh, Miss Natural's gone right now, but we're gonna try to bring her back later when things calm down. Whoop de whoop de whoop. So then she starts bringing up like Ballistic's music and asks Jocelyn like what her favorite song is, and of course she says live your best life. And then Jocelyn's going to turn on some, oh yeah, we may get a Grammy. Like, now no lie, I fucks with the song, but like, Jocelyn. So the next scene, the host brings up the whole viral double homicide comment. And basically she asks Aqua, like, do you feel like you overshared about your abortion? Do you think it was good to say on national TV? And Aqua's basically like, she has no regrets. She was glad that she shared it, and that there's been so many girls in her DM that are supportive of her or thankful that she shared it because they can relate to her. So then the host asks Big Lex, like, how do you feel you could have handled the situation differently with your mind state how it is right now? And Big Lex, she honestly gives a bullshit excuse. She's just like, oh, like, I had a lot of time to think about it, like you said, and you know, in that moment I just said it. I wasn't thinking about it. Like, okay. You still not really admitting, like, you know, what I said was fucked up, or like, you know, you're just kind of like, well, that's what I said in the moment. It just slipped out. Like, all right. Jocelyn had asked her, like, oh, like, do you have more unsupportive people in your DM than supportive people? And Big Lex was basically saying that the supportive people outweigh the unsupportive people. At the end of the day, she really don't even give a fuck, honestly. So then Barbie has spoke up, and she was saying how she sympathizes with Aqua because she's also a mother too, and that, you know, as watching her Aqua's like watching her audition tape, she was like, clearly she wasn't financially stable because, as we know, Aqua was homeless. And she was like, it's fucked up for people to judge her or say something like that because then it's her choice and you never know what someone's going through. So after that, Boss Tech, she pipes up and she was like, oh, I just thought it was ignorant. This honestly is going to be a short review because really not shit happened. Like, they had a few discussions, but this was such a shitty reunion. So honestly, y'all, even this review is going to be like whatever because that's what they was given. But anyway, so then Aqua, she calls out Big Lex and she was like, oh, how you gonna like talk about me and my situation, but you can take care of your own kids? And then that's when Jocelyn throws Lucky under the bus, and she basically tells everybody that, like, and Lucky was the one who told me that you had kids, da da da. And then Lucky's kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did I get thrown into it? And she cleared her shit up. She was like, first of all, when I got the DM about her having kids or whatever situation, Big Lex was right there next to me, so like she already knew about the DM, and like, yeah, I did run and tell you, but it wasn't as messy as Jocelyn made it seem. And here goes Big Lex. She's like, oh, y'all concerned about what comes out of my pussy, huh? And no lie, like, her saying that comment, like, I get it, because it's like they are concerned, but it's like, but you was concerned about what was coming out of Aqua shit, so like, okay. Like, how does it feel to be on the other end? Boss Tech commented on that and was like, oh, you want to put a frontal in front of your pussy or whatever. And then Big Lex basically made a comment, which is true. She was like, at the end of the day, if I want to put my business out there, like, y'all, I would, but I don't. So y'all don't really know shit. And she was like, y'all over here talking about kids, and some of y'all got grown ass kids. And she's referring to Boss Tech, because allegedly Boss Tech has grown kids. Like, she has an 18-year-old son who's about to go off to college, and Boss Tech's actually like 36, which I didn't know. So then her and Boss Tech, they just start getting into it, and they just throw in jabs. Like, Big Lex, at one point I said, oh, like, your son and his friends gonna see you in the strip club, they're gonna see their mom on stage working her ass. And then Boss Tech, she was over there like, oh, I hope you get your daughter back, be a real bitch and take care of your kids. I'm like, damn, like, Honestly, no one won in that fight because y'all, I mean, it's fucked up either way. Honestly, Chanel, she decides to speak up, and she's talking to Big Lex, and basically she was saying, asking her like why she made this I guess a comment about her being fake or whatever. Why she make that comment? And Big Lex basically was like, because like you are fake, like, you know, like you just be hopping around, and we know some girls had accused her of that. That's when Sapphire speaks up, and she basically tells us new information that I didn't know. But she says that the reason why she was saying that Chanel was like flip-flopping is because I guess Chanel and Barbie try to run up on her and Lucky, like run up and fight them when Lucky was in her room. Chanel then like responds back and tries to clean her shit up and is explaining it like, no, I was trying to grab Barbie, blah blah blah. And then Sapphire's like, but see, this is my thing right now, you're explaining like that, but at that moment when it happened, you wasn't saying none of that shit, so it's like bullshit. But then she does flip it on a positive note, and she was like, but at the end of the day, outside the show, I got to know her better. She showed up for at my birthday party when no one else did, and I fuck with her for that because that means a lot to me. So that was some grown woman shit. Like Sapphire is really able to like keep it real all the way, like really no choosing sides, nothing, like keeping it genuinely real. And they bring up Lucky and Barbie's fight, which honestly, watching it back again, I'm still fucking weak, especially with Sapphire with that, get her Lucky, get her Lucky, get her Lucky. But basically the host asked Jocelyn what is different about Lucky from the first season to this season, because like, you know, in the show Jocelyn made a point of saying like, oh, this is a whole new Lucky, and Jocelyn basically saying like, oh, you know, she's grown to herself, growing into her womanhood. So then the host asked Barbie, so, you know, you accused her of like, you know, sneaking you, and why do you think like basically she snuck you, especially when she was saying may I, all that, because she was basically telling her how like us fans were like, bitch, you did not get snuck, like y'all was face to face. And Barbie, honestly, I will appreciate her honesty. Like she already had admitted on the show that she did get her ass beat, because she had made some joke like, great, like now I could watch, I'm not gonna clap for me getting my ass beat, like after they clap when they showed the scene. But basically she was just saying that she was like, I mean, honestly, I was over there drunk, I was talking my shit all up in her face, and I really didn't think we was going to fight. Like I was just like, you know, talking my shit. And see, that's the problem right there. You can never underestimate people. The people who always get underestimated or that underdog really be the ones coming out on top every single time. Like you can't be like, people, the ones who act the most dumb and stupid be the ones who are the smartest. Not saying Lucky's dumb and stupid, but just saying like, you really got to peep people, honestly, because people be playing the game, and sometimes you may get played. But anyways, then Barbie started saying how looking back, she wish she would have stayed and handled things differently. And she was like, you know, like I'm not no fighter, so I don't know, you know, why am I trying to fight? And it's like, bitch, you should have asked, you should have what? Like, okay. And then she was just like saying like, oh, but I just, you know, at the end of the day, I don't play about my man's money. And then Lookie's like, I'm confused. Like, you acting like I stole from him, like I paid him. And then she rates the whole situation of like they was trying to get money together, blah blah. She fell on, you know, all that shit. And then she's basically like, what's the problem? So then they start going back and forth, not going off, but they going back and forth. Lunel, she jumps in and asks Barbie, she was like, so do you have a pimp? And Barbie was like saying how like, no, I don't have a pimp. That's my manager. And like, that's my manager who like I pay, because Jocelyn was like, so do you pay him? And she was like, and he deserves every penny he gets. He got me the booking for the show, blah, blah, blah. But basically they weren't believing it. They were like, okay, bitch, like you have a pimp. Like, if you want to clean up like that, cool. But like, we know what the fuck you on. So then the next thing they bring up is the fight with Boss Tech and Big Lex. And basically, when the host asked her about how she felt about the fight, Boss Tech was saying how, like, you know, I was still intact. Like, I didn't have no bumps and bruises. Like, yeah, she got a free frontal. And then she was like, I don't know why she was coming for me, though. Like, I'm confused. And in my head, I'm like, do we need to roll back the tapes? Like, even when she had originally, I remember watching that episode, and she originally was telling Jocelyn, like, I'm confused why this is all happening. You definitely did hop in Big Lex's face and was like, I want to fight you, and was going off on her. Like, you definitely inserted yourself in. So I'm confused on what you're confused on. It's not making sense. But anyways, Big Lex, you know, and I'm gonna lie, this reunion, Big Lex was talking her shit, maybe slightly a little bit too much, but I do feel her frustration. Because to be real with you, no one else was speaking up on the stage like that. Everybody else was quiet like a mouse. Like, it was just very, I don't know, just very awkward, honestly. But Alexa's like, how the fuck are you confused when you got in my face? And then she starts saying, like, you know, that's your problem. You always inserting yourself. And then she said, too, that I guess Boss Tech was talking shit about Big Lex's Gap when they had first got on the bus. Like, before, like, this is like before the scene shit that we never saw. So that's why she fought her, too. And I'm like, okay, that does even make more sense. I mean, granted, she got in her face, but it's like, and you was talking shit about me before. First off, there's nothing wrong with the Gap. Like, I've always had a Gap. Yes, I did get braces in, like, middle school, high school, and got my Gap closed, but I did not remember retainer like I needed to. So I had my Gap open up just slightly a little bit. And at first I was kind of like disappointed about it. And like, granted, I am going to get braces again just to straighten out all my teeth because I need to get my wisdom teeth pulled out. I don't know why I didn't do that beforehand too. Y'all, I just be slipping. But anyways, I do like it though. It's like, it adds personality, adds character. So I don't know why they get on her like... And I feel like when you get out, I'm not saying that white people don't have gaps or whatever, but we know for the most part that us African American black people, we have gaps. So like when they make fun of her gap and say stuff like that, it makes me feel like they're low key like anti-black. That's just me though. I could be getting too deep into it, but that's me. So they start going back and forth, and Big Lex is basically like, I'm not gonna argue with your old ass, da da da. And then Aqua's over there like, suck a dick through your gap, and she's like, you a nobody, you only have 50,000 followers. In my head, I'm like, damn, if she had $50,000 and she's a nobody, then I really ain't shit. Like, I am scum of the earth. Like, damn. I thought I was doing some of my little, like, 1,000 when I'm about to hit 1,500. Like, okay, I ain't shit. So then the next scene, they talk about Aqua versus Big Lex and their whole confrontation. And now I think about it, I'm like, damn, Big Lex really was like, not coming for everybody, but most of these situations is this person, Big Lex, this person, Big Lex, this person, Big Lex. The host asked Big Lex, like, why she stepped up to Aqua. And when she's in the middle of explaining, Jocelyn cuts in and she was like, look, I just want to say I apologize for the whole coffee incident. You know, I realized you really were coffee and that's my bad. And then here goes Aqua acting like a whole kiss ass. Like, and I just want to apologize if it came out the wrong way. Like, you're such a weak ass bitch. Like, what the fuck? Just kissing her ass. And then that's when Jocelyn's like, I really want you to come back for season 3. I think you're beautiful. I mean, I hated your dusty wig in the beginning, but you're beautiful. I want you to come back. Like, okay. So anyways, then they start asking Aqua, like, oh, how'd you find all that, like, get all that food to, like, throw on her bed? And the girl's kind of adding, like, oh, that was gross, that was nasty, or whatever. Oh, yeah, and then someone does ask her, like, did you really beat up the security guard? And she was like, no. So I guess that was a lie. I don't know. Homeboy was really crying tears, though. So then it gets on to Yummy and Jocelyn, low-key. And basically, I forgot how it got brought up, but Jocelyn basically starts telling Yummy that she really should have beat her ass. And she was really like, you wasn't afraid when you did that shit? That wasn't blah, blah, blah. And then Yummy starts talking, and I'm glad Jocelyn did say this. She was like, stop talking like a little girl and talk how you do. And I think it was Lucky who threw out there, like, talk how you talk in them confessionals, lower their lying titties and shit. And you wouldn't be over here like this. Like, cut the cameras, cut the act. And then Jocelyn starts telling her that she looks like a witch and all this shit. And then that's when Big Lex jumps in and she's like, and so what? She turned up on everybody. Like, okay. And I kind of get what Big Lex was saying, because it's like, you want to get mad at her for turning up, even though she did have natural fucked up. But it's like, technically, you did tell these girls that they had a problem, they could fight it out. So it's like, what makes a difference? You just mad just because it has you involved in it. But if it didn't have you involved in it, you probably would have let them fight and just been like, it is what it is, honestly. Because we know Jocelyn don't give a fuck about these girls. So anyways, Jocelyn's over there telling Big Lex, like, oh, I'm not talking to you, blah, blah, blah. So then they start arguing. Like, I think Big Lex was like, how old are you, bitch? Da, da, da. And then Jocelyn was telling her to shut the fuck up. And then Ballistic starts jumping in. And he's like, what's all the rah-rah for? And then Jocelyn's over there like, shut her mic down so everyone else can talk. I'll put tape on this bitch mouth. And Big Lex was like, if you put tape on my mouth, we're going to take this whole thing up. I'm like, I heard that. Like, you're not about to threaten me. Like, I don't give a fuck, honestly, about none of these cameras. Like, who are you talking to? Ballistic, he starts to talk again and starts telling her to shut the fuck up. It's getting late. And then he starts getting really mad and literally starts standing up and going off on her. I bet she's like a nigga. And he's over here telling her that she's corny and all this shit. And then out of nowhere, literally, Jocelyn jumps up, grabs this candle holder. Not no one little... like a big whole candle holder, and chucks it at her, and it actually does hit her. Like, I watched it and rewatched it again, it does hit her a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I also peep Aqua's weak ass bitch too. She threw like a cup or something after Jocelyn threw her shit. So after that, I mean, first off, that's fucking crazy. Like, that's just way too much. I know on reunions people have fought and do all that, but to get a candle holder and throw it. Like, if she really wanted to, she could dead ass press charges for real, for real. Because you're using a weapon. What if you would have knocked her out and gave her a concussion? What if you would have poked her eye out? Like, she's tripping. Like, I have been hearing rumors, allegedly, that Joseline's off that white girl and gone skiing again. And it really does seem like it. Because it's like, bitch, you're fucking tripping. Like, all the way. So then after that, security, they like separate them. Security, or not separate them in a fight, but they take Big Lex back, and it's a whole like behind the camera scenes, just chaotic. And Sapphire's over there yelling like, no, let me talk to her, let me talk to her. Basically, after they all break because of all the commotion, they show a little behind the scenes of Jocelyn ballistic when they're getting fresh air, and he basically is like, oh, I've been peeped that Big Lex was coming at you sideways all night. I'm just like, hold up, whatever. And they flip it and show Big Lex, and I think it was Sapphire back there with her, and basically someone's asking her like, where did the beef start? And Big Lex is like, that's where the fuck I'm trying to figure out. Like, why is this so much tension right now? Basically, after that, the reunion resumes, and Big Lex is not on stage yet, and neither is Miss Natural. They're still off, but they basically said they're going to bring them back later on. Basically, the host asked Jocelyn if she got something to say, and that's where she fucked up right there. Because literally, when I tell you this reunion was so shitty, like, after they come back to break, it's pretty much a wrap. Like, but I will continue on with the review. So basically, Jocelyn's over there saying how she was like, oh, I brought these girls here to be themselves, and I let them be whoever they wanted to be, and I didn't stand in their way. And then Lexi Bo on the side was like, yep, yeah, she did. And Sapphire under her breath is like, stop being a kiss ass. But basically, then Jocelyn starts thanking Ballistic for getting up in Big Lex's face and saying how he's a real ass nigga for that. And then she starts going off about Big Lex. Like, she was doing the most, to the point where it was honestly like cringy, like secondhand embarrassment, like for the network. Like, it was just so uncalled for. Some of the things that she said, she was saying that she's a dusty ass bitch, and then when she really turned it up a notch, she said that she was a bald-headed, nappy-headed hoe. And you could tell even right then and there, the host was like, okay, now you're doing too much. She didn't say that, but she was like, Jocelyn. Like, at this point, the host has been over it. Like, I already know, like I told you on the first review, she probably in her head like, this shit hella ghetto, because it is. And there we go with like the anti-blackness, the whole nappy headed head. Like, I honestly don't like the term nappy like that, because we all know in the black community, nappy is referring to a particular hair type, and all of our hair types are beautiful. So like I said, it's the anti-blackness for me. Then she starts going off about Miss Natural. Mind you, they aren't even on stage. She's just talking. That's why I'm like, she really been skiing on the slopes, if y'all know what I mean. Because she just everywhere. But she starts saying how Miss Natural is mad at her because she drinks too much Hennessy, smokes too much ganja, and mixes it with her crazy pills. And then she starts saying how she should have picked Yummy instead, even though Yummy had her fucked up. And I'm just like, what? And then she starts going off and be like, but I'm the bad person because the way I run this shit and the way I do this shit, like, you run this shit like you a pimp. Like, yeah, you are a bad person. You treat them like they aren't shit. But anyway, after that, the host is like, okay, well, we're trying to wrap this up. We're going to bring out Big Lex to say her piece, and then she'll go away, and then bring out Miss Now to say her piece, and Jocelyn over there got an attitude or whatever. It's just like, we trying to wrap this up, bruh. Like, I'm trying to go home. So basically, Big Lex comes out, and they literally have a security guard standing between. It's like Jocelyn, security, Big Lex. And I'm like, see, like, this show don't need to come on ever again. It should never be where the person who's the executive producer is, you know, like, they have to have security because they feel like she's going to attack Big Lex or whoever. Like, you know, Shani O'Neal, she's executive producer. Yeah, she's gone into it with girls and stuff, but never to the point where she really about to put hands or needs to be secure. Like, that's stupid. Not even stupid, but like, Jocelyn's ruining the show for herself. Like, her showing her ass like this, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but her showing her ass like this, like, you should be lucky if they even bring it back for a third season, because I know after I review this shit, I'm definitely canceling my subscription, and I don't plan on renewing it, because what the fuck. But anyways, so Big Lex comes back, and she tries to start talking, and she basically was like, you know what, like, Jocelyn, you know, she doesn't like me for whatever reason, but she's not the only person in this world who doesn't like me, so therefore she's another person added to that list. Like, it's all cool. Then Jocelyn jumps in, and she's like, shut the fuck up, da-da-da-da. And then Big Lex, you know, like, ignores her. She's like, in Ballistic, like, you can't me the way you did. And, you know, and then Jocelyn jumps in again. And she's like, you want to be me? You can never be me. You a jealous bitch. And you talk too fucking much. Just going off. Just don't even let the girl talk. Like, just let her talk, have her moment. And then she's literally leaving the stage. Like, what is going on? And then Big Les is like, basically like, well, like, you know, Joseline's another person on the list, realistic, I understand what you did. And she's like, and for the rest of the ladies, yeah, y'all are all fake as fuck, because y'all was talking all that shit about her but want to be on this stage quiet and kissing ass and acting cool. And I feel her on that, because to be real with you, if it was anybody who was standing up for themselves, and pretty much everybody in a sense, it was really only her and Miss Natural, even though they got separated. But everybody else was very quiet. And granted, I don't know what everybody was saying on Twitter, but I'm sure they were talking shit, because, you know, Joseline is evil. But I would have been kind of feeling type of way too. Like, so no one's gonna have my back, defend me, nothing. Like, it's just me by myself, and everyone just sitting here just quiet. I guess they want to be on season 3 so bad. So anyway, after that, she leaves the stage, and then Miss Natural comes out. And at first, she starts it off trying to thank Joseline. She's like, I just want to thank Joseline. Joseline cuts her off, and it was like, your mama told you to say that. Your mama, like, it's like, what? Like, Joseline is tripping, bruh. Like, she began on Natural about, oh, taking crazy pills. Joseline, you need to be taking some type of medication, because you are literally out of control. Like, at this point, it's embarrassing. Like, dead ass. So anyways, Miss Natural asked her, like, look, I want, you know, let me talk, I can let you talk. Like, let's respect each other. So she goes on to thank Ballistic and Joseline for the opportunity. And she basically was like, yeah, you know, I did do porn, but that's a part of me, and I wouldn't be here for that. And then she was saying how she respects every woman on stage, and even Yummy. And then she starts reiterating, like, the beef that they had or whatever. And then Joseline cuts her off, hops in, and starts talking shit about Yummy. And she was like, Yummy, you need to apologize to Miss Natural, because you a fake ass bitch. She was like, you drank and smoke all her weed, and then threw me under the bus, and you the one who made us start beefing and trying to rain on her parade in front of her. You like a witch. You're a bad witch. Like, she just starts going off. And granted, everything she said was right, but it's like, let Miss Natural talk. Like I said, Joseline is, she's on it. She's on one. So then Miss Natural resumes, and basically she starts talking about the Yummy stuff again. And then her and Yummy start getting into it, because Yummy won't let her finish. Like, every time she says something, Yummy like cuts her off or says something like snarky. And then Miss Natural keeps getting increasingly frustrated, and she tells her, like, you are not respectful at all. And Yummy just keeps on being annoying and just like, okay, yeah, like, just doing shit like that, which is hella annoying. And then at this point, the host is just over it, because it's just like, this is a shit show. Like, what are we doing? Like, and I feel like the theme of tonight's night was shut the fuck up. The amount of times I heard that, like, that was the theme of the night. Natural starts not going off on Yummy, but she lets her know straight up. She was like, you know what, I originally came here to beat that ass. She said a old good country ass whooping. That had me weak. I was crying. Oh, good country ass whooping. Whew, Lord. And she was like, but with my therapy, my cuckoo pills, and the goodness in me, clearly that shit's been working. Like, she's growing as a person. I commend her, honestly. Knowing how bad Yummy had her fucked up to begin with, and then sneaking her like that, it literally takes a woman who is growing to not beat that ass. When Miss Natural saying all that, Joseline cuts her off and starts talking about you know what, you really disappointed me. You're one of the 3 ladies who I wanted to win. You think you could talk to me this way? And in my head, I'm just like, Joseline, like, she was only talking to you crazy because you was acting fake as fuck. You was over there calling her toxic, all this shit, when y'all had already had a whole conversation and had talked shit out. Like, what are we missing? And then basically Joseline's over there telling her, like, you may have been a porn star, but you haven't made anything that's going to be here forever. Joseline Cabaret's going to be here forever. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, okay, it's good to have confidence, but now you tripping. Like, if anything, Miss Natural's gonna last forever over you, because yeah, she did do porn, but like she said, she's a legend. Her shit's always gonna be up on porn sites. Joseline's Cabaret, if it gets canceled next season, no one's gonna give a fuck. No one's gonna care. Like, you know how many ratchet reality TV shows there are that are actually good for real classics? Like, Joseline acts like she's the first person to ever do ratchet reality TV. Like, did you not forget that we had a whole bunch of shows when we had For the Chance of Love in New York and all that shit? Like, girl, like, you really, like, she acting like she really pioneering shit. Like, chill. So yeah, she's saying all that, and basically Miss Natural responds back and she was like, you like Jocelyn expects to get respect, but she don't respect us. She belittles us, calls us $2 hoes, and she was like, for y'all information, I've done porn in 6 years. And then she starts saying, you know, and I commend Ballistic for being able to even deal with Jocelyn. And then here goes Jocelyn on the side. Get off my nigga's dick, hoe. Get off my nigga's dick, hoe. I'm like, Jocelyn is really dead ass, like hella jealous of Miss Natural. It's so obvious. Like, it's just reeking envious. Like, it's really sad. And then Miss Natural says it. She's like, well, y'all, you make us. And then she changes. She's like, well, you make me feel like I'm not shit. But at the end of the day, you picked me. You kicked me out the house and then begged me to stay. And then Jocelyn starts saying her shit. But while Miss Natural's walking off, she said a comment that I know had to touch Jocelyn right here. She was like, I'm so glad that I had parents in my life that loved me. Yeah, Jocelyn's fighting them demons out loud. It's very apparent. Like, she needs for real help. So then after that, Sapphire tried to say her piece, but they literally have to wrap up the show because she was like, well, I pray in season 3 that we could come together. And I'm like, season 3? You still want to be on season 3 after she had the father of your child fucked up and said that man is dead and gone after he died a week ago? I would not become like, I'm confused. Like, this is why Big Lex called y'all all fake as fuck, because what the hell? Like, that don't even make sense. But anyway, she was all like, and it hurts me to think that you think that people were here for themselves when we was here for you. And the host literally cut her off like, yo, I'm sorry, we gotta rap. And Sapphire starts talking and she's like, look, we really gotta rap. I'm getting the call from Zeus. And I'm like, damn, like they really can't let them say nothing. And basically the host is like, look, I'll have like individual interviews everyone on Zeus live and blah blah blah. And I'm like, damn, they're really wrapping this up like this. And I feel like honestly they could have had a part 3 if they wanted to, but I feel like it was such a shit show and they know that this is already like there's no coming up from this. Like ratings down, like we using it. Cut the cameras. Dead ass. But no, so then briefly, then that's the thing. They didn't get to, there's so much shit that they didn't get to talk about this reunion because granted, yeah, Big Lex was running her mouth, but for good reasons because Jocelyn was treating her like a bitch and treating her just like, and Jocelyn literally, like I said, is off that shit because she literally like, this reunion was about nothing. There's so much more shit that they could have addressed. They could have addressed actually like Yummy attacking Miss Natural, getting her in that position. They could have talked about Boss Tech's whole alcohol thing and like more in detail with that. What else could they have talked? They could have talked about the actual dancing in it and the like, you know, just more shit. There's way more stuff that could have got talked about. Even the girls winning, Chanel winning, they didn't even get to talk about them winning. At the very end, they're just like, and we want to thank Chanel, the winner, and the other girls who won, and that was it. I'm like, wow, like this is really some bullshit. And like I said, I am done with Joseline's Cabaret. I will not be reviewing this if it comes on for a 3rd season because honestly, Jocelyn at this point got me fucked up because she just wilding right now. And like Lunel said, like, I want to pray for all the girls on set. Make sure you pray for Jocelyn too, because she definitely needs it, because this bitch is tripping. But that's the end of my review. Like I told y'all before, I will be reviewing Real Housewives of Atlanta when it comes out. And in the meantime, I'll be uploading story times. Pretty soon, I'm about to drop my vlog from when I went to SoCal with all the movie shit and some of the other gigs that I booked. A little BTS, you feel me? So please stay tuned. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and follow me on my socials, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.